a return from exile, burning with vengeance. This is Sins of a Solar Empire 2. The Advent, also known as the Unity, is a highly advanced civilization driven by spiritualism, psychic prowess, and cybernetic technologies. Exiled by the Trade Order for their taboo practices, they evolved into a society that places immense value on psionic abilities. Their PsiTech technology amplifies mental powers, granting them superior firepower and defences over their enemies. Despite their sleek, lightly armoured ships, the Advent's advanced shields and directed energy weapons give them a formidable edge. For 1,000 years, the Advent honed their technology and waited for revenge. This powerful drive pushed their advancements far beyond anything the Trade Order could imagine. They returned to trader space with a formidable fleet, seeking to reclaim their original homeworld and fulfill their prophecies of dominion. Now, internal strife divides them between the Advent Reborn, who seek to purify the Unity by purging corruptive elements within it, and the Advent Wrath, and their endless quest to forcefully assimilate the traders, and others who stand in their way, into the Unity. The enigmatic Advent, scarred by their exile and thirsty for retribution, are an exotic and formidable force in the galaxy. The Advent wield their mysterious psycho-spiritual powers to great advantage, granting them access to 5 game-changing strategic abilities. These 5 Unity abilities have 3 levels of power and are unlocked by spending Unity points, which are in turn generated by building the Temple of Unity orbital structure around your colonies. Each level of power increases the ability's effect while reducing its cooldown timer. Clairvoyance grants Advent scryers full vision over a targeted gravity well for a short duration of time, the limit of which increases depending on the Unity points invested. This incredibly powerful ability is the cornerstone of the Advent's strategic mastery and cements their position as the paragon of information warfare. Nobody can sneak up on the Advent, and the tactical data gathered here can help fine-tune their own invasion plans, or perhaps be sold on to other interested parties for a price befitting such a useful boon. Recall teleports all friendly ships around the gravity well back to the Advent's homeworld after a lengthy charging period, partially healing them in the process. The extent of this healing rises, while the duration of the charging period is shortened as the level of the ability arises. This rapid tactical redeployment can be used to dramatically cut down on travel time when crossing a large empire, to quickly bring a fleet to the defence of the homeworld itself, or allow daring raids that look suicidal to their overeager foes, causing catastrophic damage to enemy assets, then blinking away out of sight before any serious harm is sustained to the fleet. Sanctify renders your colony invulnerable and increases its health regeneration, a powerful defensive tool that can turn a beleaguered colony into a bulwark defensive position, perhaps long enough to rally nearby forces and mount a counterattack on the infidels invading your territory. This ability is a must when playing defensively. Proselytize has a simple but powerful effect. It rapidly propagates your culture into and around a colony. The Advent's gameplay is tied very strongly to culture, where cultural dominance brings powerful effects which can be further unlocked with research, such as increasing resource mining rates and experience gain for ship crews. Thus, the rapid proliferation of your own cultural influence across the game map is highly beneficial to you, and this ability can help fully leverage those bonuses very quickly. Proselytize also has a strong synergy with the next ability. If you have cultural dominance there, conversion works to convert the population of an enemy colony over to your faction, gradually reducing the planet's health over time, with increasing tiers of power having a more pronounced effect and longer in duration. If the planet's health is completely depleted, the colony will instantly join your empire and its control is immediately handed over to you instead. The Advent's rivals can counter this terrifying ability with their own rapid cultural output, building their own cultural resistance scores through research, or increase the health points of their colonies to reduce the effectiveness of the conversion process once it has been activated. With limited orbital structure slots available, you'll have to decide which powers are the most useful to your situation, playstyle, or future plans. Do you pick just 1 or 2 abilities and maximise their level? Or maybe grab all 5, knowing some of them will be limited in power until much later in the game? Unity abilities use a new resource called Focus to activate. Once enough focus has been accumulated, the ability can be triggered. Various technologies and items can increase the generation rates of focus, allowing a canny Advent player to wield these powerful and often game-changing strategic abilities more often. The Advent's advanced PsiTech abilities are manifest in a unique defensive orbital structure called the Temple of Renewal, which can recharge the antimatter of a small number of ships within range. This can allow the rapid redeployment of your capital ship's most powerful abilities, potentially turning the tide of a close-fought battle. It can be upgraded to recharge the shields of close-by ships over a short duration too. The presence of a Temple of Renewal empowers a friendly fleet to perform well beyond its normal capability, and woe betide any foe who underestimates its effect. The Deliverance Engine is an expensive late-game offensive orbital structure available to the Advent factions, and its effect depends on who you're playing as. The Advent Reborn can use this powerful device to resurrect a portion of destroyed Advent vessels at a distant gravity well, ensuring those previously defeated ships can return to the fight and give their all for the Unity a second time around. Its effect will also increase the reload rate of any targeted ships, whipping the Advent fleet into a frenzy of ferocious firepower, safe in the knowledge that fallen warriors may be saved by the grace of the Unity. Meanwhile, the Advent Wrath's Deliverance Engine has a more insidious effect: the instant conversion of enemy ships over to your side, while decreasing the reload rate on non-affected ships. Former friends and comrades turn on one another, whittling down enemy numbers or increasing the strength of your own fleets in the targeted system. The Advent make use of their hyper-advanced PsiTech to add to and improve the capabilities of their warships, titans and starbases by hardening their crews with psychic training. There are 3 levels of PsiTech training available, each granting a psi power bonus to all ships with abilities or equipped items that make use of it. Extra psi power can be increased on a ship-by-ship basis by adding PsiTech boosting components, with some other ways to boost it available. And all these scaling psi power increases work on top of the usual ship level ability increases too. For example, Psykinetic Plating is a ship and titan item available for research that grants an armor strength bonus to your ship's psi power value, transforming the Advent's usually rather lightly armored ships into a much more formidable target to crack open, particularly if even more psi power boosting components are stacked with it. Certain capital ship and titan abilities are enhanced by psi power too. The Radiance battleship's detonate antimatter damage can be greatly enhanced to many times its original blast strength, causing catastrophic structural damage to enemy capital ships, while the duration of the Rapture battlecruiser's vertigo ability can be dramatically increased to really dampen your enemy's firepower output. The Advent build their warships in accordance with their spiritual aims, blending aesthetics with high technology, foregoing armor and hull density in favor of advanced shielding and PsiTech enhanced weapon systems. This gives them a style of play based around highly synergistic ship types which complement and support one another, with advanced combat abilities and unique weapon systems. They're not as tough as the traders, and not as fast as the Vasari, but with their advanced technology and unusual abilities giving them a broad range of tactical options, the Advent can go toe-to-toe with the best and come out on top. The Advent make heavy use of beam weaponry. From point defense deadly to strike craft, to long-range, starbase killing death rays, the Advent have something for every occasion. Furthermore, their shield technology is the best in the game, and they lean on it heavily, where the traders would rely on advanced armor plating and vast pools of hull points by contrast. Vasari phase missile technology, which can ignore enemy shielding, is particularly deadly to Advent warships, but the Advent have excellent point defense and their special psykinetic armor to help counter this threat. The Advent's roster of rather specialized ship types are designed to work in tandem with one another, and their true strength really lies in the huge variety of special combat abilities they can bring to bear on their enemies by combining these different ship roles. Let's take a look at an example of this. Here, we can see a swarm of Acolyte corvettes engaging slower enemy warships with their rapid maneuver ability and harmonic reactor ability, which generates antimatter with each shot landed. They can then transfer this stored antimatter using antimatter projection to recharge the Iconius Guardian's shield projection ability, which uses antimatter to increase its shield coverage out to nearby friendly ships. The Acolyte corvettes greatly benefit from this extended shield coverage, which keeps them in the fight much longer, constantly feeding antimatter back into the Iconius Guardians. This synergistic relationship makes these two vessels a fantastic combination. Friendly capital ships can also benefit from antimatter projection too, allowing a much greater recharge rate for their own deadly antimatter fueled special abilities. The Advent Reborn and Advent Wrath factions are further distinguished from one another in many ways, from their unique choice of Titan to some very powerful planet items and abilities. For example, the Advent Reborn's Soul Reclamation can replenish their own focus with the returning spirits of their own defeated ship crews, while the Advent Wrath can build a temple of assimilation on a colony to convert enemy ships entering the gravity well over to their side. The Advent have returned with a vengeance, wielding exotic and deadly technological advancements delivered with a cold, calculated fury that can only be sated by the destruction of the TEC and anyone else who gets in their way.